Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John, and on this video I'm going to talk about 10 possible 4K releases from Arrow Video. So what I've done is I went through the collection and I found out 10 movies that have previously released 4K remastered Blu-rays. Try saying that after 10 pints. So what I've done is I've checked all these movies out and checked out key scenes to see what they look like on these Blu-rays. Now I've ranked them in order, and now if the Blu-ray is going to be a representation of what the 4K could look like, then I'll put them in that rank. I could imagine Arrow taking a shot at most of these movies. In fact, I hope they do. I hope they released all of these movies on 4K. I'll be buying them all. But some of them are like must-haves. But first I want to mention this one that's coming out very soon. The Videodrome 4K. Now this one here is a stunning set. Now I've got to thank my good friend Leon from Leon Talks Film. I'm going to leave a link down to his channel down below. He gave me a great price on this set. And it's an absolutely amazing set. Now what I think of on this one is there's a stuff here that you get like the David Cronenberg's early works. I don't think that comes in the new set. I could be wrong, but you can buy this separately, so it's not going to be, you're not going to miss out. This one here is an absolutely amazing set. It weighs a ton as well, and the picture quality in here is quite good. It's not that bad, but remember that this one isn't sourced from a 4K print, so I think they went back to the negatives and have done a new 4K scan of them. So I would imagine that the picture quality on here is not going to represent the 4K upgrade. So that's why I haven't looked at this one, because I don't want to say, well, I know it's going to be much better than this one because it went back to the original negatives, and this one is not from the original negatives. It's not a 4K upgrade. It's not even a 2K scan, but it does look good. It's looked the best I've ever seen it, so I'm very excited to see what they do with Videodrome on 4K. So that's an honourable mention to that one. So another quick honourable mention is to Inferno. Now this was released in 2010, so this probably hasn't had any real restoration work done it, like sort of modern day technology. So I think that if they still got the rights to it, I think they could do an absolutely amazing job on this, and I would really love to see them put this out, because I think that this is the one that's kind of the one that they could release, and because Videodrome was come out in about 2012, so it shows you how far behind they can go to these things. Now I would have thought that they'd lost the rights to Videodrome a long time ago, and they might have lost the rights to this, but hopefully they haven't, and then get this out on 4K, because this is probably the last one that I think that everyone wants, and I think it could look sensational because of the way it was shot on 4K. That's Inferno. So I've ranked these all on picture quality only. If the picture quality was amazing, it would be the top of the list. If it was kind of lackluster, it would be at the bottom of the list. These are not my preferences. This one here, this number 10, would be the first one I would want put out, and it is City of the Living Dead. Now this one has never ever looked sensational in any format I've seen. It's always looked a little bit, I don't know, underwhelming. Although this looks the best I've ever seen it. It is a 4K scan, so that makes me think they've done it. So they've done a 4K scan in 2018. Now that makes me think that it's been quite recent, so that I could see this coming out. Now it does look good. Don't get us wrong, the colours in here look great. The only thing I would say about this movie is the fact that it's got this kind of weird sort of fog running through most of the movie when they're in the town of Dunwich, and it does take away from the sort of quality. I think it's a little bit, it adds to the sort of graininess about it. It's probably the source material as well isn't the best film it was shot on, but I would love to see this looking pristine, but I don't know if it ever will. So that's why I put it at the bottom of the list, sadly. But I do think that this I would imagine, with this being this lovely presentation, I would imagine when it comes out it will look exactly the same. Unfortunately, it would be literally what you've got here with a 4K inside, which is a bit of a shame. So at number 10, that's City of the Living Dead. At number 9 is a title I'm really surprised had a 4K scan. It is The Driller Killer. Now I've got to say that this movie here, when I put it on my new TV, it does look quite good. I mean, it doesn't look brilliant, don't get us wrong. It's got a very sort of grainy, not grainy, sort of very grubby look to it. It's quite dark as well, but like in the movie it's quite filmed at night. I remember the pre-cert of this, you could barely see what you were looking at. This movie is very colourful, actually, a lot more colourful than I remember it. And I do remember that this new Arrow version that they've done, when I watched it I thought, this movie is not a bad movie, it's quite a watchable movie. I don't know if they would ever go down the route of the 4K box set with these. I mean, these I could see City of the Living Dead get a lovely box set. I don't know if this one will, but you never know. This with Videodrome as well, all these these ones that are coming out that you think, well, you've got a fair shot of all of these coming out, and I do think with them already having the 4K version on their sort of lockers, they might sort of start doing it, because they seem to be doing it with a lot of them now. So it's a one that I thought it might get a later day with the special edition. I don't know how far they will go with the special edition on this. They might just do a slipcover, or maybe just not even a slipcover. Now, it is a movie that doesn't appeal to that many people, so maybe on the notoriety alone it might get a release for that, but I'm not too sure about this. There's a few in here which I think I'm not too sure if they will go at that 4K, proper 4K, but you never know. I would like to see it on 4K. I would like to get it. I would get it on 4K. I do think that it would look better than this, and I do think that the colours in here are that nice that it would look better on the 4K. So surprisingly, at number 9, that's The Driller Killer. At number 8 is Thief. This movie is a funny one, because I keep going, oh, I'm going to watch that movie. I think the Debs might like it as well, so I've been putting it off with that. And I think I'll have to ask her the next time, do you fancy watching this movie? Because I think she would like this one. But anyway, this one here, what I'd say about this movie is it does look pin sharp. It's got I think it could look like a really nice 4K. It's got a very cool picture for me. It's got one of those ones where it looks a very cold, like it's sort of bluish. It's not got a bluish tint to it, but it's got a very outdoor, cold, autumnal feel to it, probably when it was shot. But that's one of the reasons why it doesn't seem like any of the colours were very warm. The colours, it seemed like, were all kind of muted, or blacks or darks. Maybe that's just the way that it was intended to be. But for clarity and pin sharpness, this movie looks quite good as well. So obviously, with a very sad recent passing of James Caan, this movie's went further on my list. So number 8, that's Thief. So at number 7 is Carrie. Now this movie here, I can see this getting a 4K release, no problem. This is a great, but again, this package is going to look exactly the same. It's a great package. I love this package. It's one of the best packages I've got. But again, you're going to get something that's practically the same. Do we really want to go there? But I think if they've done The Hills of Eyes on 4K, this is a definite one that's going to get released. Now this movie here, it looks great. But it's got this, Brian De Palma sometimes uses a soft lens when he films, so it's got this bit of a soft hue to the picture. Not taking anything away from it. It looks lovely, and it's exactly the way he would have wanted it. But do bear in mind that on the 4K picture, which I think, especially at the last scenes, will look sensational with the reds, will look like amazing. So do be aware it's got that softness to the picture, but that's the way it was actually shot. So at number 7, that's Carrie. At number 6 is Heathers. Now these movies coming up, they've all got great colour in it. It's a colour that's selling these movies for me. They've all got a bit of slight green in them, but I don't mind that, because the green does actually make the clarity and the sharpness better. So for me, that's not a problem. This movie here all from now on, they look really stunning. Now if these got 4Ks, all of these ones got 4Ks, I think you would see sensational 4Ks, because they look great on the 4K remastered Blu-ray. And I've got a feeling that those ones there, they look good, don't get us wrong. I think they would look very nice on 4K, but I think these are the ones that would be like wow factors. I don't know if all of these will get releases, but I'd like to see them get releases. This one here, Heathers, I think this is an obvious one to put in 4K. It's just such a good movie, and it's such an iconic movie from the 80s, and a different iconic movie. It takes the sort of school sort of setting, and turns it on its head, and it does something really crazy in this movie, which I really appreciated. I would imagine these days this film would never get made, but I think it's a brilliant movie, and the colours in here are what sell it. It's a great sharp picture, but it's mainly the colours that do it for me. So at number 6, that's Heathers. At number 5 is Weird Science. Take a look at that slip. It's absolutely brilliant. Now, I put this on, and I always thought that this movie, that's why I'm glad I checked these out, because if I went off my original memory of these movies would be in a different ranking. So this is great. I've tried these all on my new TV. This one here was a lot more colourful than I remember. I thought this movie was quite grainy and it was quite dull, but I was far from it. I could see this getting a 4K because it's such an iconic movie from the 80s. At number 5, that's Weird Science. So number 4 is Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. Now I remember watching this on the TV, and I used to love this. Used to be on the TV all the time, actually. This movie here, I would have probably put this right down on the bottom, because when I remember watching it, I thought it was good, but when I saw it on this new TV, it kind of came across much better. This has always reminded me of a spaghetti western. It's not a spaghetti western, but it just comes across like one. So this movie plays across like a road movie. He does most of his traveling in a car in like Mexico, so you get all his vistas and you get all this sort of like grubby sort of spaghetti western like feel to it. But I think it's a great movie, and also very violent, and also it looks really much better than I thought it did. I think mainly because it's outside and the cars in here, you know, the colours on the cars are just sensational as well. So this one, for me, surprisingly, could be a really good 4K. I don't know if this will get a 4K because I don't know if it's a good enough well-known title, unfortunately. I would love to see it on 4K. I would definitely own this one on 4K. I was really surprised to see it was a 4K remaster. Actually, when I looked at it, I thought it would be a 2K one because it's been out for quite a while. But yes, you can really tell it's a 4K remaster. And if it's anything like this, it will look really amazing. So that's at number 3. That's Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. No, that's number 4.
Where's me ladders?
Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. So number 3 is Pieces. Now, when I looked at this and I knew it was a 4K remaster, and I thought, right, this can't be as good as these movies. Actually, it's better. And there's only 2 more ahead of this. And I was quite surprised to see when I looked at it, like with fresh eyes, and I thought, right, let's like review them against these ones. Where's it going to sit? And it come right up there. This is, again, I would imagine that this will come out in exactly the same box. It's a great box, it's a great edition, but, you know, I wish Arrow would do something a little bit different if you're going to be buying. See, I would keep this one, and I will keep this one, but I would like to get the 4K, like, different from this. All it would do, literally, is just right on there. It's a 4K and put a 4K down there. So it's a bit lazy, I've got to say, and they are guilty of doing that quite numerous times. But it is what it is. Eventually, they'll have all these 4K remastered ones. Now, things like this, if this gets a 4K remaster, that's great because you've only really got it with a slipcover on. You haven't really went and bought the special edition. But that's probably for another video. But this, again, this is a lot clearer than I thought it was. It's a low-budget movie. It's a low-budget slasher movie. It's quite violent as well. I always mistakenly thought this was a video nasty, but it's not. But it's quite close to being a video nasty, or that type of one that the video nasty people would have had a look at it and thought, oh, you know, we think we're going to have to look into this. Probably there's a chainsaw involved. If it had chainsaw in the title, it would have definitely been a video nasty. But it's got a seriously great looking transfer, and I would definitely get this on 4K because this is an amazing movie as well. So at number 3, that's Pieces. At number 2 is The Slayer. Now, when I was going through these titles, I knew I had to put this one in here because I remember when I first watched this one, I did think, what on earth has done this picture? It just looks so good. And then it was one of the ones where it said a 4K scan. I was like, wow, you can really tell. Now, it's a funny one. I don't know if this will get a pure 4K one. It's a great movie. It's not as great as, you know, it's a video nasty. It's former video nasty. It took ages to come out. It's very hard to get in this country. But I wouldn't say it's the greatest video nasty. It's not that brutal at all. It's got brutal scenes in it, but it's not the best. It's not the most shocking video nasty. In fact, it's one of those ones where you think, why is it even on the list? But the picture quality on here is sensational. It's one of those ones where you put it on. If I said to somebody, I've got the 4K of The Slayer, and I put it on, they might think that it was actually the 4K they were watching. It's just that good. Now, it's mainly down to the colours, but what it is, it's just like outside quite a bit. It's on like beach. It's in a beach house and stuff like that, and it really comes to life. Then it's got the water and the beach, so you can really see things like the sun shine on the beach a bit, like and the water, like Jaws. It's got that bit of flavour to it, so that adds to the picture and adds to the enjoyment of the movie. So it's a funny one. I don't know if it'll come out in 4K, a proper 4K. I would love to see it come out in 4K, like a special edition, you know, like this. I think it will look absolutely amazing. I don't know how big the demand is for this, but then again, Arrow do release some strange titles on 4K. So at number 2, that's The Slayer. So at number 1, strangely enough, is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Now, if you told me that this would be top on any list, I would have went, what? Because the original 2K remaster in this was alright, wasn't that good. The 4K remasters always look great to me. Now when I put it on my TV, I just thought, this is just sensational. The colours on here are like colours I've never seen before. You would think we're watching a 4K, no shadow of a doubt. But the main thing about this one is the black levels in this is really unreal. I've never seen black levels on all of these movies. The black levels were okay, but this is the one the black levels stood out. It has stood out by miles. The quality, the sharpness of the picture is amazing. It's flawless. There's no the grain in it is quite low as well. All of these are quite grainy to a certain extent. The grain on this one is a lot lower than all of these ones. For me, strangely enough, this 1988 classic, and it is a classic. I would love to see this on 4K and get a really good, nice box set of this, because this version is great. Don't get us wrong, but I think this would just have that extra just pizzazz to be on a 4K transfer with a big box set. I think they could do a lot of things with it. I would love to see, I mean, this art's really good, but I like to see them getting some really good art. I mean, if they use this one, this would be great as well. So don't forget, these titles are all a bit of a guesswork on my behalf. Now with them bringing out Videodrome, that made me think, hang on a minute, they might be going a little bit further back in their catalogue. And then I looked through and thought, how many 4Ks have they got that they could prospectively do? And honestly, this here is one of the best sort of Blu-rays I've ever seen in my life. When I've sat down and thought, right, let's have a little bit of a look through this, and I was blown away by how good the quality was. In fact, I'm going to even ask the Debs if she wants to watch this, because don't forget the soundtrack's by the band the Dickies, who me and the Debs are big fans of, and we've met them and everything like that. So it's all kind of going to tie into that. So I might twist her on for that. And plus, it's not that violent, especially when people are getting killed with custard pies. Okay, so let me know in the comments down below what you think would look good on 4K released by Arrow. So thanks for watching. You take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.
Stick it!